At the beginning of the film, a girl is shown driving somewhere, clearly terrified. She has a bag full of money and a gun with her. After going a little further, her car gets a flat tire. Because of this, she leaves her car behind and starts walking ahead. Suddenly, a car comes from behind and hits the girl, killing her on the spot. Inside that car are 4 friends who are on their way to a cabin for a hunting trip. Frightened, all 4 get out of the car. They don't understand what they should do next. One of them is named Paul. His eyes fall on the bag full of money, and he tells his friends that their lives are about to change. Paul is the greediest among the 4. The other 3 are extremely scared because the girl's dead body is lying right in front of them. John tells everyone that they should take the bag to the police. Paul responds that if they go to the police, the cops will keep the money and frame all of them for murder. John feels this is wrong, but the other 2 friends are ready to support Paul, as greed has now taken over their minds too, and they also want to change their lives with this money. One of them asks Paul what they should do with the body. Paul says that once they reach the cabin, they will bury the body in the forest, divide the money among themselves, and forget about this forever. After that, they put the girl's body and the bag into their car. Just as they are about to leave, a police car arrives at the spot. The police officer is searching for that same girl. Seeing the police, Paul tells everyone to stay calm so the officer doesn't get suspicious. The officer checks the girl's car and then starts questioning the 4 friends. Paul tells him that they haven't seen any girl and that their car suddenly broke down in the middle of the road, so they are trying to fix it. The officer says the car doesn't look damaged, so how could it break down? Paul replies that even they don't know. It just suddenly stopped working when they got there. The officer says he wants to check their car. Paul becomes extremely scared. In panic, he picks up the girl's gun and points it at the police officer. Seeing this, the other friends are shocked and terrified. The officer tells Paul to put the gun down, but Paul shoots him, killing the officer on the spot. Paul's friends can't believe that he has killed a police officer. One of them says they need to think about what to do next. Paul says they should leave the officer's body there so it looks like the girl killed the officer and then ran away. After that, all of them get back into their car and head toward the cabin. After reaching the cabin, everyone sees that the place is completely deserted, with dense forest all around. John is still very disturbed by what happened, so he isn't talking to anyone. 2 of the friends are digging a pit to bury the body, while Paul is counting the money right there so it can be divided equally among the 4 of them. Meanwhile, John calls his wife. She says, "I've been calling you since morning, but you didn't answer a single call. Why did that happen? Can I know the reason?" John replies that he's absolutely fine and that after the hunting trip, he'll be home soon. After this, we see another man named Denny. He arrives at the same spot where the girl's car is parked. He looks inside the car but finds nothing. Then his eyes fall on the ground, where there is a lot of blood. He immediately understands where he needs to go. He gets into his car and drives straight to the friend's cabin where they are burying the body. Seeing this man, all 4 friends are shocked. One of them asks Denny, "Who are you and why have you come here?" He replies, "You have a bag that belongs to me. I'm here to take it back. Give me my bag and I'll leave." They can't understand how Denny managed to get there. Paul points a gun at him and tells his friends to search him, but they don't find anything on him that could pose a threat. Once again, Denny says, "Give me my bag and I'll leave." Paul asks, "How did you get here? Does anyone else know about us?" But Denny replies, "I don't know about anyone else, but I know everything about you. And I'm telling you again, give me my bag so I can quietly leave." The 4 friends don't understand how Denny is so calm, because he isn't angry and isn't saying anything threatening. Just then, they hear noises coming from the forest, making them think that Denny's men are hiding there, aiming at them. So John and his friend pick up their guns and look toward the forest. Paul asks Denny how many men he has in the forest. Denny says that he came here alone. Paul doesn't believe him, so he takes him down to the basement and ties him up. But there, they notice another man. Seeing both of them holding guns, the man gets scared and tries to run away. However, they catch him and bring him to the cabin. Paul asks him where the rest of his partners are. The man starts crying and says he doesn't know what Paul is talking about. He says his house is nearby and his family lives there. The man is extremely frightened, which makes it clear that he's telling the truth. John says that judging by his condition, it looks like he doesn't know anything. But Paul says that now the man has seen them, and if he goes to the police, all 4 of them will end up in jail. So they'll have to kill him, and this time someone else will have to do it. John's friend says that he'll kill him. The man begs all of them for his life. Because of this, John's friend feels pity for him and can't bring himself to do it. But Paul points a gun at him and forces him to shoot. So John's friend shoots the man, and the man dies right there. John's friend goes into shock for a while because he has taken a man's life. After that, John starts trying to hide the body. When Paul comes to Denny, Denny tells him that he has killed an innocent man and that he knew the man was innocent. Maybe, Denny says, Paul enjoys killing people. He's not doing all this just to protect himself anymore. He's starting to get used to it. Hearing this, Paul is stunned. After that, when John comes inside, Denny tells them to give him back his bag and he'll leave. Hearing this, one of Paul's friends says that if they give Denny a share of the money, it won't be a problem. But Paul refuses, and Denny also says he doesn't want any share. Hearing this, Paul points his gun at Denny's head. Denny calmly says that Paul can't kill him, and that he should tell his friends about what happened in California. Hearing this, Paul is shocked. He asks Denny how he knows all this. John asks Paul what happened in California. Paul avoids the question at first, but then he tells everyone that last year when he went on a business trip to California, he met a girl there. She came to his room willingly. But the next morning, she said that if he didn't give her the money she demanded, she would go to the police and claim that he had forced himself on her. An argument breaks out between them, and in a fit of rage, Paul kills the girl. After that, he cuts up the body and gets rid of it. That means Paul had already committed a murder before. After hearing this, his friends can't believe he could do something like that. Paul tells them that he did everything only to save his own life. Meanwhile, we see John's friend, who is extremely angry. He comes down to the basement, points a gun at Paul and says, "Because of you, I killed an innocent man, and I regret it." Paul then reminds him that he himself had stepped forward to kill him. Hearing this, John's friend is completely shocked, and Paul takes advantage of the moment, snatches the gun from his hand, and aims it back at him. Paul's friend and John try to stop him, but when he doesn't back down, Paul's friend hits him on the head with the gun, knocking him unconscious. When Paul regains consciousness, he finds himself in the basement with Denny. On the other hand, Paul's friend and John are talking about hiding the money somewhere in the forest, because ever since this bag came into their journey, they feel like they've lost their humanity. Down in the basement, Denny provokes Paul, telling him that his friend won't include him in the plan and has already left with the money. Enraged, Paul runs after John, but John's friend shoots at him, causing Paul to fall down. They assume that Paul might be dead, so John's friend goes into the basement and starts crying. Denny then says that crying won't help anymore. You didn't want to kill that man, yet you did. And now you've even shot your own friend. Meanwhile, we see John in the forest, where he spots a hollow tree and hides the bag inside it. After some time, Paul opens his eyes and quickly hides behind a tree. In reality, the bullet had hit his shoulder, which is why he survived, and he realizes that all 3 of them have now turned against him. He asks Paul's friend, "Do you trust John?" He replies, "Yes, I trust John completely." Denny says, "You're thinking of fixing your life with this money, but let me tell you, this money has never brought any good to anyone." Paul's friend tells him to shut up. Denny then says, "Just give me my money and I'll let you leave this place alive." But they don't understand what he's saying. Meanwhile, John is on his way back toward the cabin. Then Paul steps in front of him, points a gun at him, and orders him to take him to the bag, threatening to shoot him if he doesn't. John throws his gun away and says he's completely tired of all this. He tells Paul that if he wants the money, he'll take him there. John cleverly leads Paul onto a path where animal traps had been set. As they move forward, Paul's leg gets caught in one of the traps, and he starts screaming in pain. But instead of helping him, John picks up the gun and runs away. After hearing everything, one of John's friends says that Paul is their friend too, and how can they just leave him there to die? Denny says they still have a chance and asks them to give him his money. Because of this, Paul's friend threatens Denny. Danny replies that he knows everything about them, about how they've been betraying their own friend. Before Danny can say anything more, Paul's friend shoots him in the head. At that very moment, a strange sound echoes through the area, and everyone starts screaming in pain because the sound is extremely painful to their ears. After some time, they all set out to reach the place where John had hidden the money. On the way, Paul spots them and quietly starts following them. Paul also finds John's gun and keeps it with himself. As they move ahead, John asks Paul's friend if he's hiding something from him. Paul's friend says yes and asks for forgiveness, admitting that he's having an affair with John's wife. Hearing this, John is completely shocked and angrily says that he treated him so well, yet the two of them betrayed him together. Saying this, John points the gun at his head but doesn't pull the trigger. He says he'll take the money and leave, and never wants to see his face again. Meanwhile, we see Danny suddenly open his eyes. He has come back to life. On the other side, they reach the tree where John had hidden the money. John's friend says that now they should go back to Paul. At this, Paul's friend says to forget about him, that he's probably already dead by now. As soon as he says this, Paul shoots him, killing him on the spot. Seeing all this, John and his friend hide behind a tree. John's friend then says to Paul, "You're our friend. We were coming to get you anyway. I'm throwing my gun and coming out. You throw yours too." Paul replies, "You come out first." Trusting Paul, John's friend steps out. He's also carrying a bag. But then he notices Denny standing behind Paul. The moment he sees him, he's shocked. The bag slips from his hand. He thinks, how is he alive? Paul doesn't understand what's happening, and in that confusion, he shoots John's friend. Now only Paul and John are alive. Meanwhile, Denny drags John's friend under a tree. He then draws his blood with an injection to keep himself alive, and finally, we learn the truth. Denny is actually a monster. As John's friend is taking his last breaths, Denny tells him, "I threw money among you to test you." Just then, as John peeks his head out, Paul also fires at him. He assumes John is dead, but John is still alive. Paul comes to pick up the bag of money and John shoots him and kills him. But John is also close to dying because he's badly wounded. At that moment, Denny comes to him and makes him drink his blood. He says, "This is a gift from me to you. This will make you immortal. You humans are very greedy. You can do anything for your own benefit. And now I'm giving you a new life." Saying this, he takes the bag full of money and the gun and leaves. The next morning, he puts the bag in that girl's car. Shortly after, we see the girl walking toward the car, meaning she was alive too because she is also a monster. She takes the bag and goes back to her work, the same work she's been doing with Denny for all these years, collecting blood to drink. Now we see two people at a new place who are shocked to find that same bag full of money, and the same greed awakens in them. From this, we understand that they are going to be Denny's next victims. Finally, we see John, who is still alive. Obviously, after drinking Denny's blood, he has also become a monster and joins Denny in this new mission. With this, the story ends here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Also, subscribe to this channel for more stories like this.